Okay, welcome back, everyone. We're finally at the episode where the boat's going back on the water under sail for the first time. This is going to be our shakedown run. We're basically going to go out there, hoist the sails, and see what bits break or fall off during that process. Just a quick check. I've gone back to the old format of me talking over the video. Last episode, I had a little floating head in the corner whilst I chatted. I'm not sure which people prefer, but feel free to let me know in the comments. Ideally, I would talk live while I'm actually recording the video, but at the moment, I've got too much on my mind. So let me know what you prefer. At the moment, you can see we're laying out the spinnaker sheets on both sides of the boat. We're going out on a day where it's around about 15 knots, 15, 17 knots outside of the harbour. So it's fairly fruity. So we're being a bit optimistic rigging the spinnaker, but hey, it's a shakedown run. So if we get a chance to run it, we'll run it and we'll see whether or not it works. One other thing to point out before we go is the boom. You can see it's really drooping into the cockpit. Now, we have what's called a rigid vang on the boat. The vang being, it's normally rope on blocks that leads to the middle of the boom to the base of the mast. And it's used to pull the boom down when you're running downwind, okay, so to keep it powered up. Ours has a rigid vang. It's not technically rigid, it slides to shorten and lengthen. And it has a gas strut inside it. Now, that gas strut has obviously collapsed, but I'll go into more detail on that later. So that's knackered. On the masthead, somehow, and at some point between bringing the boat back from Beauset a couple of days previous to this and us sailing out, the wind instruments have been attacked by a seagull, or more likely a pterodactyl by the look of it. The mechanical weather vane has all but disappeared. There's just a bent stump left of it. And the NASA electrical weather vane, the anemometer element to it is still there, but the actual weather vane seems to be jammed, or at least very, very sluggish. So I don't know if that's coincidental that the bearings in that are starting to seize up, or whether whatever hit the other weather vane has had a go at that as well. But that's going to be a trip up the mast. Am I good? The other thing I'd like to clear off is a couple of episodes ago, I mentioned that the faffing is over. And I'd just like to clarify, that doesn't mean I'm finished doing up the boat, okay? Clearly the topsides still need a lot of work and the interior is an absolute mess. So that needs a full refurb, really. Which leads us nicely on to who we can see on camera at the moment. The guy on the left is Dan. Dan is a carpenter by trade, and he owns a 9-ton halyard. Those who follow my channel closely would have seen a post where I helped him lower the mast on it a few months ago. Anyway, he's done an incredible restoration job on it. He really has gone to town. And I'm kind of hoping that he can help me deck out the interior on our boat at some point. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so here we are about to hoist the mainsail. Dan's getting his first taste for just how easily the Acum de Mer wants to go onto a kind of beam reach with the sails down. When it's trying to point into the wind, you've really got to give it a fair bit of motor and really work to keep it pointed in. Okay, so the issue you're about to see is one that has been ongoing for a while, but it's got worse and worse and worse. So I'm pulling the sail up by hand and it's gone up reasonably easily. And here we go. Yes, there it is, the classic winch overwrap. A bit of a pain when you're trying to raise the mainsail, as it's very difficult to get the required amount of luff tension without a winch. You can see in this little shot I've got here that the winch bracket itself has actually kind of work hardened and begun to crack, and those cracks have got substantially worse recently, to the point where the winch is basically just adjusting its angle downwards as you winch, and it just instantly overwraps. Rubbish. Okay, we're about to deploy the head sail, and Perrochet being Perrochet, it's obviously going to jam. It looks like it's actually come out quite cleanly there, but in fact it hasn't. There's about 10% of the sail still wrapped around the forestay. I've had a number of different issues trying to furl and unfurl head sails on this boat before. One is that the furling line that goes to the drum at the bottom of the furler is too close, and therefore it kind of wraps off the bottom of the drum and jams up. And the other issue, as you can see on screen now, is at the top of the mast there's this drum that is supposed to stop the halyard from wrapping around the furler as you furl and unfurl, but it looks like the bearings in that have actually collapsed, and it's kind of at a weird angle against the mast, and sometimes it seems to jam against it. That's become more of a problem recently, so that's going to need chopping off at some point, I imagine. I've actually installed a fair lead on the mast, which diverts the halyard already, so I don't think I need that drum anymore.
just like 2 degrees. Yeah. The boom will come across there, and you'll need to switch sides. Just remember that. Okay, and now just swing us smoothly on a through. Yeah.
pretty good.
Hey, that log is unlocked!
Yeah, I was watching that before.
Oh, brilliant. When did that first happen?
About 5-10 minutes ago.
It must have been a bit quick or something. 6.4. I'll take that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've had a good little blast. We're just getting ready to bring the boat back in. We're about to pack the sails up. You can see me, I've just switched the engine on. And we're just about to turn into the wind to drop the sails. But Perrichet's got one more little surprise in store for us yet. No, it wasn't the Traveller. It was the Vang tearing its rivets out of the boom. There's a lot of aluminium corrosion on that boom. Anyway, so other than that and the stern gland continuing to spray like a saltwater shower, not that much broke really. So yeah, well done if you made it through. I'm just going to leave a bit of bonus footage at the end, a couple of bits of bonus footage actually. One is my terrible attempt to moor up. I was getting blown off the mooring and yeah, just did a shocking job at it, so that'll give you a laugh. And then there's one more small breakage which is quite hilarious at the end. Thanks guys.
No way.
On set.
That could be a problem.